Hello and welcome to episode 7 of Chaps Chatting Champs. Good morning, Brant.
Good morning, Josh.
And good morning, everybody.
Josh, did you know that we have exactly two six-cost cards in Marvel Champions?
Actually, I had never thought about that. I did not realize that.
We have the Hercules ally in aggression, and we have the Captain America ally in leadership. Both of them have a very similar ability. Reduce the cost to play them by number of minions in play for Hercules or number of allies in play for Captain America.
Right. And it's a darn good thing because how else are you supposed to play a 6 cost ally?
So now you gave me an achievement for people out there. So the achievement
Uh-huh.
is to play both the Hercules ally and the Captain America ally in a single game for free. Get them both into play. My suggestion is that people use Spider Woman.
That
So
does
that is
sound so you
the
would need to get a lot of Avengers and a lot of minions.
that's right. So that is my achievement for people out there who are looking for a creative idea.
That actually sounds really fun. What are some other creative ideas people might be looking for, Brant?
Nice. So here we go. We got our 10-minute timer for our chat time here. We are calling this a creative pause, Josh. So we
Hmm.
obviously have a break in content. My heart is a flutter. So we have some time here between the release of Gambit and Rogue and the release of the next evolution wave. And it's what do we do with our time? There aren't new things, new toys, and things to play with. And I actually
Hmm.
think it's been a really creative time. People have had to come up with all sorts of different things to do. So I'll talk about that in a second. But first, I'll focus on like what could just players do. So I think it's a great time to teach somebody the game. Just take that opportunity, find a coworker, find a neighbor, find somebody that you know, and see if you could teach them the game. Maybe jump on to try to play some games on the internet if that works for you.
Hmm.
And then you could also think about hosting an event. We talked a lot about like the OP kits and trying to get events hosted at stores, and people were kind of having some frustration there. But you can host an event at a store even if you don't have an OP kit.
Oh, that's true.
You maybe could go on and print some of the custom content and maybe give that out to people who play, some of the symbiote suits or the resource cards that are out there or something like that. But you could host at a store. A library would do an event like this. Marvel's so big. A community center, a convention, a church, or another religious place that maybe would let you do an event. So these are places that you could host an event. It doesn't need to be large. 4 to 8 people would be plenty to have a table or two. But that's something that you could do. Now, that's going to be people who are very outgoing, like I am, and looking to do something like that. But
Sure,
that gives
sure.
you ideas. The other thing is just mixing up your gameplay. Throw in some modulars. Find some other modular sets to put them in. Take a modular set, play the Sentinel modular set through a series of older villains. Uh, Go back and play one of the campaigns completely. You know, any other things that you could think about, Josh, that players could do?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I should be writing these down because these are all actually really fantastic ideas. I imagine a lot of people have their sort of routine of playing this game. The new content comes out, you play each hero, maybe in all 4 aspects, maybe you play through all the scenarios in the campaign, whether you play the campaign or not. And depending on how much free time you have, if it were me, that would probably take until the next
Right.
thing came out. So that would keep me busy until then. Now we have this 6 month gap, which now is only a few months, but it was 6 from Rogue to the new thing. Anyway, so those are all fantastic suggestions. The other thing I was going to think of while you were saying that is maybe just getting out some heroes you haven't played in a while. We talked last week about trying to get to know heroes better a little bit. And I know for me, I recently got to know some of the newer heroes better because I just get a chance to play them when they were new.
Mm.
But I also got Iron Man out and had a lot of fun with him and hadn't played him in years. So that was a fun distraction for a week or so. So that might be another thing. I really like your suggestion of just taking one modular through a bunch of different villains. That is a really cool idea. So I definitely think that would be worth looking into as well.
Yeah, on the hero front, if you're a spreadsheeter, you could spreadsheet your hero plays to see who you've played a lot and who you haven't. If you're not a spreadsheeter and you're more kinesthetic, just line up your heroes in order in your box and swap them to the back as you play them. And the ones that come to the front are saying, please, play me, right? And whatnot. So you would be able to do that. And you could do a similar thing with villains to try to find some of those combos that you haven't played. Maybe you generally play solo. Maybe this is your chance to try a single two-handed solo game just to see how it goes for you. So there's
Mhm.
a bunch of ideas for people who are playing. I also want to focus on content creators. I'm talking very fast, I know.
Hey, that's us.
And community, I don't know, community creators is kind of a better term to me anyway. So there are some specifics. I will not be complete, and I apologize to anybody that I miss for any of these things. But Nelson All Over is doing the MCCU
Mm,
campaign, and he's
mhm.
recreating the movies as best he can and using suggestions from the community. So you could check that out and kind of help him going forward. D20 is going to get ready to do a 12-hour stream, live stream. So that's going to be something you can jump on and support. Marvel Champions Monthly has started an online OP event, so you can play in their OP events, do the suggestions they have. What they're doing is in 4 weeks in a month, they have two that are kind of normal plays. They just say, please play this. Then they have one where they change the rules, and then where they have one where they like restrict deck building. So you've got kind of a swath of ideas for April if you haven't seen those. And you can enter to win some OP cards. Somebody had posted a Sinister Six scenario on the Facebook group that I
I
saw.
just saw that. That looked
That was
awesome.
really neat, putting the Infinity Stones in there. So that was a neat idea that I thought of. There's a ton of custom content. You can find it on TTS. You can find it on Discord. There's a link. I know that people have tried to gather all that, so you could possibly print out a new hero to try. There's the campaign contest winners on the Fantasy Flight Games website. I know you did one of those
Mhm.
campaigns. I did two of those on camera for people. If you're looking to just be overly challenged with the game, there's Descry Gaming, and he just plays Expert 2 and all sorts of things. And he has an amazing video on the heroes and kind of a tier list for playing Expert 2 and Standard 2. So you could kind of play through that backwards, kind of play the top ones first and kind of get used to playing that. Steve at Play the Game has the Beyond the Precon decks for people who are kind of newer, and you can see, oh, I could take this precon, add these cards, and he's very specific about what packs they come from. So if you're looking to purchase, you can do that. And also his Villains Beyond series. And I'm telling you, these are great. He finds
Mhm.
perfect modulars for like theme or challenge that you can add to each of the villains. So if you're looking to change those up and you're like, I want to change modulars, but I never know what to add, and I don't want to create weird situations, he's got great ones for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in right on that just because I cannot recommend the Villains Beyond series enough. Every single time somebody leaves a comment very kindly asking me to talk about the villains more, I always just say, "Go watch Steve. He has got that on lockdown, and I've got nothing to say that he's not saying better." The Villains Beyond series is amazing. I'll link it in the description. Definitely check it out if you haven't.
Yeah. So that is not an exhaustive list, like I said, Josh. And there are many other channels out there that are playing and reviewing and doing other sorts of things. But these are the ones that came to me off the top of my head. So please put in the comments below other people you're creating something, and let people know what it is. Because yeah, there's a lot of exciting things you can do with this game. It's the reason that it's my favorite game.
Yes. Yeah, there's so much variability and modularity. A couple other things I thought of while you were talking. I don't know if they're currently running one, but the Solo Champions League
All right.
tends to be up and running more often than not. So if you haven't ever tried that, that might be a way to go. And the Living Card Games Discord, where I hang out a lot, Brant's there as well. We do a monthly challenge there as well. That's kind of fun to just try, something creative. Sometimes it's something really hard. Sometimes it's something really kooky, but that's another thing that can occupy your attention for a minute. And one thing that I put together recently that I will plug once again is I do have the Perfect Matchups Progression Series. So if you're just looking for a game to throw on the table, there's 43, I think, perfect suggestions there. And along the lines of everything Brant just said, I am working on something as well to hopefully keep people busy for a little while we wait for the new content. Not quite ready to divulge what it is, but hopefully I'll have it done sooner rather than later.
Nice. And we'll also mention that you can go to the Con of Heroes website, and basically at this point, you can download the new stuff that's coming out that people are playing at Con of Heroes this weekend.
Oh
So you can play
my
along
gosh,
with that.
yeah. As we speak, I'm there. That's very exciting.
So those are some ideas. So the last thing I want to leave with, this is really kind of a list, more than a discussion. I realize, but there's this idea of challenges and achievements. And so challenges would be something where you essentially tie one hand behind your back. So it
Mhm.
would be like saying the alter ego challenge. Can you stay in alter ego the whole game? Normally you're allowed to flip, but you're not allowing yourself to flip. An achievement would be you're playing the game, but you do something while playing the game in its normal fashion. So I gave an achievement up above: play Cap and Hercules for free in that game and see if you can achieve that goal. So that would be the
Mhm.
idea. So there's some of those. And recently, the Villain Theory gave one, which was the no resource challenge. And it was that
It's
you
crazy.
cannot spend a resource in the game. And I'm not tooting my own horn. I played Andy's deck, the Cap deck, and put a Star Lord deck out there. But two-handed, I was able to win the game without ever spending a resource. And it's going to be fun for some people like me, and it's going to be awful for other people. So,
Right.
your mileage may vary, but I would love to see some of these others. I know there's like try to cast 15 or more invocations in one turn with Doctor Strange, fire all your arrows with Hawkeye. Obviously, the stay in alter ego is another one. Try to draw all of your cards out of your deck into your hand or on
Mhm.
the table. So these are just some fun and interesting ideas that you can look up, and I'd love to hear about more of those that people have as well. Ooh, there's our time.
Oh, well, perfect timing. So yeah, I really like those ideas. Another one that comes to mind for me, because for me personally, I'm never necessarily looking for a harder challenge because the game does a good job of that for me as
Mhm,
it goes. But what another way to go for challenges I like is the idea of different deck building challenges. Like maybe you could set certain restrictions on yourself,
mhm.
like you can only include cards up to a certain cost of certain resource types, things like that. So that might be a fun thing to try as well.
Yeah, and if people are really into deck building, there's a lot of randomizers out there. So if deck building is your thing, then you could randomize and it would suddenly say, oh, you need to play She-Hulk aggression versus Zola. And now go and figure that out, and you can kind of focus on that build or whatever it is. So it'll randomize that for you to give you that chance.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments what you're doing to keep yourself busy until next evolution comes out. If you've got any cool ideas for gameplay achievements or deck building restrictions, put them down there so people can check them out. And with that, Brant, are you ready for your this or that? You hit me pretty
Ready.
hard last week. I don't
I
know if
did get you good.
I think I went maybe the other way. It might be a
Uh-oh.
little easier for you. We'll see how it goes. A little behind the scenes, we're recording back to back here so that I don't have to record the week I'm leaving for Con of Heroes. But now that I know we're allowed to ask hard questions next time, I'm just kidding around. All right, here we go. For video games, do you prefer side quests or the main quest?
Main quest.
Champions cards, energy barrier or force field generator?
Energy barrier.
Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Do you prefer an event driven hero or an upgrade driven hero?
Upgrade.
Batman or Iron Man?
Hmm. Batman.
Agent Coulson or Monica Chang?
Coulson.
Do you prefer a road trip or a flight?
Mm. Flight.
Hmm. Hand cannon or sonic rifle?
Hmm. Sonic Rifle, because I like to go to alter ego.
Same. Monty Python or Saturday Night Live?
Saturday Night Live.
And the last one, for the next LCG, would you prefer Star Wars or DC?
Star Wars.
All right, there we go. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Have a good week, Brant.
Have a good week, Josh.
And have a good week, everybody. Take care.
Enjoy Con of Heroes if you're there.